Welcome everyone. My name's Ant Parsons. I'm from ALP Synergy Limited, and this is a great session for us tonight, all about nature changes lives. And this is part of the Nature Secure and the Nature Smart projects being delivered on behalf of the Natural Environment Research Council, or NERC. So I'm really excited tonight to have Josh Adeyemi here. I never quite know where Josh is going to be. I go onto Instagram, I go onto TikTok, and I'm looking, and Josh is just having the most fantastic adventures. He's the founder of Black Scottish Adventurers, and he's the creator of Tales by Josh. So if you want to have fun when you're scrolling through the channels, then make sure you're following him. But he's an experienced outdoor leader, and he's absolutely dedicated now to helping people connect with nature. So he is a perfect speaker for us tonight to talk all about how he thinks nature changes lives. And I will pass over to you then, Josh.
All right. Thank you very much for that, and really appreciate it. That's a big, big intro. And hopefully I'll be able to live up to that. Hopefully I'll be able to live up to that intro. Welcome everyone. As Ant said, my name is Josh, Joshua Adeyemi. And I don't know, where do I start? I think where I would love to start is that I probably shouldn't be here. I probably shouldn't be on this call. I probably shouldn't be speaking with you right now. And the reason for that is because like many years ago, when talks of going up hills or spending time in nature used to come up, I'm one of those people that used to go, because I don't know if it's a cultural thing, but I'm originally from Nigeria, and there's this thing we Lagosians, people that were born in Lagos, say when we talk about either the mountains or the outdoors. We say, "Oh, are they sharing money out there, or are they sharing money over there? Are they giving anyone any money?" And that's something we used to say, and I used to say that a lot as well. So for me to find myself in a place where I'm talking about the magic of nature and how nature is changing lives, I think even for me, it's still, I don't know, it's still a big one. It's still something I'm still settling with and just getting a vibe for, to be honest with you. Even though I've been exploring the outdoors continuously for over 15 years now, it's still something special. It's still something unique for me. So yeah, welcome. I'd love to take you through a bit of a journey today, and hopefully I can keep it spicy as I go on. Again, Ant spoke about singing earlier. I've been working on my vocal cords, so maybe we'll do maybe we'll take a little break and do a bit of sing along. But yeah, welcome. So I think my journey, my outdoor journey officially started when I moved to Scotland. But before that, I would like to take you further back a bit. So I grew up in Lagos to a family of five at the time. And my father was from a village quite close to Lagos. It was about maybe an hour, 45 minutes drive away from Lagos. That's where his parents were. And I remember we used to go see my father's parents in the village, and it was proper village setting. Not huts, but like houses, but there was loads of greenery compared to Lagos. And there was this very special feeling I used to feel whenever I'm out there. That used to run through my system. Whenever I'm out there, I used to feel free, very free, and I was always joyous and happy. And it was always this good feeling. By the time I was young, I used to think, maybe I'm feeling this way because I'm on holiday, which makes sense. I'm a young person. I don't get to do chores when I'm in my father's village and all. So it made sense. But then it didn't really make so much sense to me until I moved to Scotland about 15 years ago now. And when I moved to Scotland, I remember landing, where was I? Yeah, I landed in Edinburgh because I took the bus from London and took the bus straight into Edinburgh. And I remember coming out of the bus station in Edinburgh. And the first thing I saw was just the trees. The trees were just perfect in Prince's Garden. And I was thinking to myself, wow, these guys are so, because I'm a Christian. I was like, these guys are so lucky. God is so good to them. Look, even the trees are perfectly aligned and everything is just, it makes sense. By the time I didn't know that these things, people actually look after them to make sure that they are well looked after and they are in the perfect spots. And thankfully for me, I quickly discovered about the responsible right to roaming here in Scotland. And that literally transformed my life. That got me connected to nature. Because reading about that, coming from Lagos, Lagos is a place, is a city of concrete. right? There are no green spaces where I grew up. And I grew up in I would say one of the most, I mean, the most deprived places in Lagos of nature, to be honest, which was Mushin at the time. And when I moved here, reading about the right to roam, reading about the opportunity to go out and explore nature, as long as it's done responsibly, I saw that opportunity and I thought to myself, you know what, I'm going to take advantage of this because this is something that is fun. I was young, I was full of energy. And then I started exploring locally with my friends in Edinburgh at the time. And we started around Water of Leeds. So if you look at my where I am today on my journey and look at where I started, it's the contrast is massive. Like it's massive, right? So we started in Edinburgh. We used to go on walks around Water of Leith. We used to walk on the Union Canal. And spending time outdoors and in nature, over time you quickly realize, or I quickly realized, you know what, this is doing me some good. Like whenever I'm out, and it was more with my friends. It was never really alone, to be honest. It was with my friends in time. Time in nature was with my friends, and we used to feel so free. The social pressure that we're feeling because me and my friends, we came from Lagos. And funny enough, they are friends that I grew up with from secondary school through university and then moved to Edinburgh. And I used to feel this sense of, freedom, this ease whenever I'm outdoors. And whenever I come back, I feel even better, right? And luckily for me, a lady I was working with at the time told me about this beautiful hill at the base of Loch Lomond, which happened to be Ben Lomond. So she didn't even call it a Monroe or anything. So for those that may not know, Monroe is a mountain over 3,000 feet in Scotland. And those mountains are classified as proper mountains in Scotland. And I remember she told me, when you're going, please go in the summer, be very, very careful. The temperature at the bottom could be different from the temperature at the top, right? And I was this young person full of energy, and I was like, yeah, sure, I'm gonna go. And because she told me to be careful, I wore everything. I think I had maybe about two, three jumpers on. Because I mean, I didn't know anything about waterproof jackets. I didn't know anything at all. No idea, no clue. I had my trainers, but I was prepared to the best of my knowledge. And I checked the weather. Believe it or not, I was checking Google weather to check to see the weather, to see the weather forecast for mountains. And looking back now, it's very humbling and is a good sign to show that anyone can connect with nature. And hopefully over time we'll be able to educate ourselves and learn more and hopefully be able to support others in whatever way we can as well. So I went to Ben Lomond and I did the walk. And luckily for me, it did not rain because I mean, I think I've been sharing a few photos from that day. And looking back, thank God it didn't rain. Because if it had rained that day, my seat, I probably won't be here. I probably wouldn't be here with you today. Because I mean, I had no waterproof clothing at all. I mean, prepared to the best of my own ability at the time, but thankfully it did not rain because the situation might have been quite bad. The trainers I had probably didn't have enough good grip for the mountains, and if it was raining, it might have become slippery and I might have fallen. Maybe the worst could have happened, but thankfully that did not happen. However, something changed in my life that day. As I was heading up that hill that day, I could enjoy breathtaking views for the first time. It was the highest I've ever been in my life, and I could look out into the highlands from there as well. And it was this profound feeling of freedom, this profound feeling of enlightenment in a way, in my own way, because this was a boy coming from Lagos, Nigeria, now in the Scottish Highlands, or in Loch Lomond Trossachs, looking further into the Scottish Highlands and, enjoying the views, feeling empowered, feeling the freedom that was running through me at the time. And I think my well-being was all great. But again, whenever I'm in the hills, I don't really think about that. I think it's when I come back my actions and the way I feel that I then corroborate that with being outside. So in the moment I was young, I was like, yeah, I did it and stuff. And I went back down and I told my friends, I said, oh, I went to this beautiful hill. It's not so far. And they're like, yeah, you have to take us. I was like, yeah, well, okay, let's do it. So the week I went to Ben Lomond, I went back the next week again. And luckily for us again, the weather was good because I was looking at the photos and the clothing we had definitely wasn't right at all. But thankfully we went and I think it changed something in them as well. So fast forward to 2000 and 2022, because from that moment on, I started like supporting my friends to go outside. For those that, if it's places where we need cars, I'll support them with my car without asking for any support whatsoever, because I understood the challenges that folks within my community faced. And to be honest, most of my friends were male, and the friends that I was taking out were male as well. So naturally, when the idea came after the second lockdown, and the idea came like, oh, why don't I just start a start something small? Since I've been supporting loads of people over the years, anyways, why don't I officially make it something? And that way, I could just do a group thing rather than just supporting folks individually. But before I could do that, I needed to understand some of the challenges that were affecting or that were hindering people from my community specifically, to be honest, from engaging and connecting with nature. So I started speaking with different folks, and some of them, it was various barriers. The fact that some of them didn't even know that those places existed, just like me. I didn't know that those places existed before I started going outside. Beyond that, for some of them, they know that it exists, but again, getting to those places is a bit of a challenge as well. Maybe some of them are not driving, maybe they don't know about public transportation, maybe it's a time issue. They don't have the time to be able to get to those places. And then for some of them, just general life is just difficult. Because there's something I say, particularly for folks within my community, and I understand now that is not just peculiar to people within my community, is a general thing, is the fact that I think your stomach have to be a bit full for you to be able to make time for nature. So if you're, there's no way you can be working two jobs, three jobs, and you've got kids, you're struggling with various things in your life. Often, nature, as great and as amazing it is, sometimes the challenges of life tries to take over. But I think you you would have had to have, established that connection with nature so strongly that you would really understand the importance of just making time and making a date with nature. So whenever I see people or I have conversations with people and they go, I'm really struggling to make time for nature, I totally understand that, because I think for someone like myself, as I was saying with Ant just a few minutes ago, it's it's a lot easier now compared to before, because now I understand the benefits of spending time in nature. I have lived through it, I have seen it through my own life, and I've seen it in other people's lives as well. The value add when we go out into nature. So for me, dedicating that time and making that time for nature, setting a date with nature, it's it's not negotiable. It's something I have to do, because if I don't do it, it's going to affect me. It's going to affect my mental well-being and my physical well-being as well. So fast forward to 2022, BSA was launched. And I don't think I've said this before anywhere, and I think this might be the first time I'm going to say it. Because the folks that have been taken out over the years, because they're my friends, most of them are my friends, and most of my friends were male. Most of them, when BSA was launched, in my head, I was thinking it's probably just going to be mostly guys, anyways. Because as far as I'm concerned, my mom, she can't be bothered going for a walk. My sisters can't be bothered going for a walk. So just generally and logically thinking, I was thinking, oh yeah, BSA is probably just going to be just guys. Because even BSA was launched in April, and even in November, the year before, I did a health walk, and it was men's mental health, men's day. We did a walk, and it was about maybe about 14 to 15 guys. So just naturally, I was thinking it was going to be guys. And yes, the first walk we did at BSA, it was mostly guys, right? And I won't go into the details of how it went, but it was funny. It was a funny story, but I'll keep that for next time. But it was mostly guys. But by the time we finished that walk, I think loads of people used social media to talk about it. Most of the people spoke about it, word of mouth in their offices to their friends. And believe it, by the second trip, so it was something we're going to be doing monthly. We did that one in April and it was about 20 of us. By May, it was about 30 of us, right? And I kid you not, majority of the people that were on that trip were ladies, were female, right? And I was thinking, oh, well, how did this happen? Where did all these people come from? And like that, and then went into June, we went to about 40, and by the end of the year, we're averaging about 80 to 100 people, right? And majority of them were female. And I'll come back to that point later. And I was shocked. I was stunned. I was like, okay, so this means even ladies within our community, because the ladies in my own family at the time, I know that they don't have any business with nature. It was either too cold, it was too difficult, it was a lot of excuses, right? And by the end of the year, it was loads of ladies. And those ladies, I was really pleased because the way BSA was set up and all the challenges that we look to address to support people in getting out into nature. So some of the initiatives were, for example, carpooling, because for people to be able to get from one place to another, it was important for us to be able to transport them. And the kind of adventure that we were creating was not very local. It was adventures, it was opportunities for them to not just see Scotland, but for them to go somewhere that they haven't been before, with the hope that that would transform, their lives and open up their horizon to see more and, experience more of nature. So that was great. So the carpooling was working perfectly. So what we'll do, we did that for two reasons: to reduce our carbon emissions and also to get people to connect locally as well. So if one person was coming from Glasgow and they're driving, maybe they're supporting about three other people from Glasgow, then that way they've connected in the car. And by the time they get to the point of the adventure, you see everyone talking to each other and chatting away, and you think they know each other for a long time, but no, they all just met that morning. And also the way I set up the community was, it was set up for the people it was meant to support. And, it wasn't for us to finish our hike and go into a pub, because I know that a lot of the folks from my community don't necessarily drink. So, but they like good vibes, right? So they like good vibes. So I looked at my community and I created what will work for them. So luckily for us, we started BSA in April. So it was getting into the warmer months. So and we're so lucky that year, right? For every month, it was sunny during our adventures. And I think sharing our content on social media, utilizing social media to engage more audience, people were in awe. They were like, "This can't be Scotland. These guys, they are always in, they are always getting sunshine, and it's always sunny anytime they're outside." And I think it became a thing, and it grew very quickly. So the way the adventure was set up to benefit that community and to suit that community was, we meet very early in the morning, around 7 o'clock, and we go for a walk. We finish the walk around 12. And from 12, we go by loch. That's where we have, like, so we've organized food, drinks, barbecue, and just vibes, just moment for people to be able to sit by the loch and connect. And just because it's a big part of being outside for our community as well. It's not so much of an individual thing. It's not like we don't promote people going on adventures or people engaging with the outdoor on their own, but it's just for our community. It was important for us to be able to sit together, break bread together, and have, just that camaraderie and just that community vibe. And it worked well. And that troubleshooted us straight up. Everyone was talking about it. And very quickly, it was sort of like a global name in Scotland. And we were well known, and people were coming from even England and Wales. And then the next thing, people are coming from America to join us on adventures, which is just crazy. And people are coming from Europe. And we got loads of that. And fast forward to today, we've seen now, I think today, for example, we have over 7,000 registered members on our website. Every of our adventure is still about 100. Well, in the summer, it goes up to 120 people, but we have to cap it because there's only as many people as we can support at a time. We have, with Rambler Scotland, thanks to Rambler Scotland, we've got people that are now currently doing their work leaders training, which is amazing. Currently, we have about three people within that particular one. And then we've got people that have done their mountain leader training as well, waiting to be assessed. So again, we've supported community in ways that, even I couldn't have imagined. I'll be entirely honest with you. And BSA has grown so much, and we've not only inspired the Black community as I intended, because there was just lack of representation within the space. And I was thinking, you know what? Like it would be great if I start posting about BSA on socials and all that stuff, and other people can see that, oh, this is happening. And even if they don't particularly join Black Scottish Adventurers, they'll be able to go away and do it on their own if they can. But we've not only just done that at BSA, we've inspired people beyond our community as well. Because when other people see us outside, they're like, oh, well, if these guys, well, it looks like most of them are from Africa, if they can come to Scotland and they can get outside and enjoy nature, then what's stopping me? And I think it's the same for other people across the world as well. And they're looking at us, we are inspiring them on a regular basis. And honestly, nothing brings me more joy than that. And I often get the question that where do I see BSA going? So BSA is a community-led initiative. And basically, we have our core values, and our core values are centered around, educating our members about the environmental crisis that we are in, and I mean supporting them to connect locally, which will reduce loneliness within the community, and providing support when it comes to getting outside. Either you are educating about how to get outside, or the support that they need, or the clothing that they need. So those kind of general things that can help empower them to be able to go and just explore nature on their own. And so far, the testimonies that we've received is so much. I mean, it's heartwarming whenever you get those testimonies. And for me personally, if you're thinking, what do I gain from all of this? I think to be able to, because during my own outdoor journey, it happened so fast, so quickly. I didn't really take time to, realize what was happening to me. But then for me to be able to see how it's affecting and benefiting others in a positive way is almost as if I'm looking at my own journey through their own journey. And it's a profound experience for me. So hopefully at BSA we'll continue to grow, we'll continue to support people. And hopefully in the next not too far future, hopefully BSA won't exist anymore. And the reason why I'm saying that is that there won't be lack of representation within the outdoors, and everybody will know about what is required or what is needed for them to be able to get outside. And there'll be many of us that will be out there enjoying nature and will be looking after nature that a group like Black Scottish Adventurers won't need to exist anymore. Thank you very much for your time.
Brilliant. Really, really fantastic listening to all of that, Josh. And honestly, I might challenge you there. I think it would be a shame if Black Scottish Adventurers didn't exist. You might have to adjust your mission or change your core values, but bringing people together as a community, is never not gonna be a good idea, is it?
I agree. I agree. But it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. And I'm not saying that it won't exist anymore in the sense because it's a lot of work, but it's just the fact that currently at BSA, I've seen people come into BSA and they've gone over my dead body to their first experience of anything, right? Like I've seen people come through and they see other people paddle boarding on the loch and they're like, I can't do that over my dead body. And then I've seen them go from over my dead body to becoming champions at it and supporting other people. And that is unique. That is unique. You don't get that a lot. So the reason why I say that is because we will have enough people that will be championing nature within our community that a a specific community like BSA won't be required anymore because there's just going to be. So imagine like 1,000 Josh, for example, in Scotland, and you have all these other amazing people doing amazing things as well. So imagine loads of us doing all these amazing things. Then I don't know, maybe you might not need, maybe a BSA will be a once in a year thing where we all come together to celebrate nature and the magic of the outdoors and all. But it won't necessarily be a thing where we are
Yes.
still holding people's hands and still supporting. That support is always still needed, but there will just be so much support out there that a community like BSA won't be required anymore.
I look forward to the first BSA festival
Oh, that'll
at, at the
be.
bottom of Loch Lomond.
That's where BSA was bettered. So yeah, it would be ideal. Actually, April next month is our fourth year anniversary. Would you believe it? And we've been going for 4 years. We've been going strong. And through the years, as I said, we've inspired so many people. People have come to BSA not knowing anything about nature. They've gone on to climb Mount Tukal in North Africa. We've got people that are doing the West Island Way. We've seen people that have gone to do the trail in the what's that Alps trail, the hot to hot trail. So we've seen people that have come to BSA not knowing much about the outdoors, and then they've just run with it. They've just run with that opportunity. And I think there's that thing that nature does to you, particularly with the young people as well. They pick up so much and they soak up so much very quickly. I'll quickly give you an example. So we did our first ever. So we are not just limited to hiking, just to point that out. So we do other things as well at BSA. So it's not just hiking, but we continue to improve and expand. So this year was our first ski adventure. So we did that in collaboration with Hostel in Scotland, and we were also supported by Cairngorm's Mountains Resorts. And I think it was about 22 of us that went there. So imagine 22 people that have never been on the slopes before, right? And there was this lady, because we're staying at hostel in Scotland. So it was either you come through for the whole thing or you just meet us at hostel in Scotland, right? And this lady, she's got 5 children. She said, "Oh, I can't ski. I don't know anything about snow and all that. I'll just meet you at hostel in Scotland." And when I heard that, because I wasn't dealing with it directly, someone else was dealing with it, and I got that feedback. And I picked up the phone. I messaged the lady, like, "Can I call you?" She said yes. So I phoned her. She was at work. She came out and she said, "Josh, thank you for all you do, but I don't think I can come to the slopes at all." And I was like, you know what? Because you've got 5 children, specifically because of that. I was like, you know what? Why don't you just come, take the train, the mountain train, take it up to the cafe, go to the cafe, and just let the kids, just let them see. Just let them see. They don't have to come onto the slopes. Let them see, right? And she did that. And at the end of the day, I caught up with them. And the lady and her kids were in a battle. They were like, "Mom, why didn't you bring us to do this?" And I think for me, that is what is all about. It's just because I remember we were talking about skiing earlier, and the first time I went onto the slopes in Nonda in Switzerland, I've never done anything like that before. And when I was invited, I could have said no, to be honest. But I said yes. And I got there and I saw people doing all these amazing things. And I was thinking to myself, if they can do it, surely I can. And I think I something like that has been impacted in the minds of those kids. And I'm sure next year they are definitely coming because I heard them saying to their mom that next year. And that essentially is what BSA is all about, inspiring people and supporting people to be able to achieve, those things that they never see them or be in places that they never see themselves in.
Fantastic, fantastic. Anyone got any questions for Josh? Anybody unmute if you'd like and feel free to ask. Let's see, nobody's brave enough. So in the chat, we've got a question. Are there any anniversary events that BSA are planning this year?
Yes, so our next anniversary, which is going to be April, I think is April, I believe it's April 26th. I think that's the date. So again, it's just our normal work, but we kind of sprinkle a bit of sauce on it just to make it unique and special. So we'll be going to Benan, and Benan is a lovely, beautiful hill in Scotland. It looks out to Loch Katrine, and ahead you can see Ove Venue, which are the Monroes into the highlands. Absolutely stunning. It's a relatively small mountain, a bit steep. I think it's about 470 something meters. So, I mean, if you're not an avid walker, it will give you that boost that you need. You feel like you've done something, and then the views just absolutely stunning. So that's where we're going to be spending our fourth year anniversary this year. And currently, I think about 57 people have signed up already. And from here on, because now people are coming out of hibernation, as I always say. So from here on, the number just keeps going up until maybe late autumn again, where things just calm down. But for us at BSA again, what I try, or for me personally, what I try to encourage people to do is connect locally. And that's what we're seeing a lot of people do as well. So people are going out for walks locally, people are meeting each other, just going to do things. And not just walks, like some of them go to movie and all these amazing things. And for me, it's important to see that happening because then we'll be able to pass all of this on to the next generation, and the challenges that we're having around lack of representation is going to go away. And if anyone is thinking, why? What's the point? What's the point of a group of people being in the outdoors? And I'll tell you why, right? At BSA, we've seen increase in representation when it comes to volunteering activities over the years. So we've worked with like Loch Lomond Trossachs, we've worked with the Abanete Reserve, we've worked with the Cairngorms National Park, we've worked with various organizations as volunteers. And I think that's important because when we educate more people about the outdoors and make them realize that the outdoors belongs to them as well, they want to look after it. And they do that in their own way. And that's something we educate them on at BSA. Just simple things like segregating your waste at home, and all that. So just those little things, or walking when you should be using your car or using public transportation, those kind of things, it helps a lot. So, and also, most importantly, for their physical and mental well-being as well, that reduces the stress on NHS ultimately. So, again, all of that comes and feeds into everything that we all enjoy as society. So, if anyone at any time think, "Oh yeah, what's the point?" Well, that is the point. That is the point. So it's not just getting a group of people outdoors to go dance on mountains, which you do a lot of, and we love it. Just go dance on mountain. That's cool. That's cool. I'll actually tell you quickly, just very briefly, how the dancing thing came about, right? So it was our first hike. We were on our way up. A lot of the folks on the walk were like, "Josh, what have you done? I'm never doing this again." Because the mountain we were going up was quite steep. It was Benan, but it wasn't dangerous or anything, but it was steep. Like you get to a section where it's just steep up. It wasn't technical in any way. You could literally just walk up. It's really popular. And a lot of them were like, "Josh, I'm never doing this again." And by the time we got up to the top, loads of people were like, you just see people busting out in very different sort of emotions, right? Because again, for a lot of them, it is probably the highest point they've ever been, other than taking a plane into the UK for those that came from outside the UK. Like that's the highest point. And and I chose that hill specifically because it will make you do a bit of work and then a bit of work. And when you get to the top, the views will definitely be worth it. And then I saw all of a sudden people started dancing, they started coming together, and some of them had like this little Bluetooth speaker and they put them on and they were playing music and dancing because we start our adventures quite early. So we're the only ones there at the time. So it was a free space where we could just be our authentic true self. And they were loving it and they were dancing. And after that, the next adventure, because we took videos of that and put it on social media, the next adventure, when we got to the top, I did a bit of chat and we're going to leave. And people were like, "What about the dance?" And that's how, and that was how the dancing became a thing at VSA. So even till now, even sometimes I forget, but people will go, "Oh, wait, Josh, what about the dance?" Because maybe for some of them, is that idea of dancing on top of a mountain that initially brings them out to join BSA, and then they come and their life gets transformed, and then they want to come back. They feel better, their physical and mental well-being is better, they are better people when they go away. And yeah, so it's a good mix of ideas that has been working for us. And even though we are called BSA, so we're not just limiting our group to just black people, the reason why it was called BSA specifically was actually my own journey. So I had been hiking for a very long time, and I was really keen. Well, in the summer, I've been hiking in the summer, and I was really keen to begin my winter adventures, to go out in the winter and hike in the winter as well. And it was really affecting me because, I mean, getting a guide was out of it because it wasn't even on my radar because I thought it was too expensive. It was for rich people. And again, beyond that, I didn't know the routes. I didn't know how to get up there. I didn't know if I had good gear for it. So I was stuck. So what I did was I started messaging people on social media, right? Just I'll look at people that I'm following and I'm like, "Oh yeah, this person looks like they go out in the winter and they look like they know what they're doing based on the photos and videos, right?" And I started messaging random people. And I was like, "Hey, can I come along with you? It looks like you do a bit of winter adventure." And I didn't get any response, right? And it was coming to the end of winter, and I was almost going to give up, but I was really keen to just begin my winter adventures that year. So I went back and I tweaked the message a bit. I was like, I'll just tweak the message a bit and give it a go. So my message this time was, hey, I see that you've been doing winter adventures. Is it okay if I come along? But don't worry, I'm not going to walk beside you. I'm just going to walk far behind, but keep an eye on what you're doing. I'll just do exactly what you're doing. I'm a competent hiker, but maybe not in the winter. And thankfully, a guy responded and he said, well, don't worry about it. A group of us are going to Helvellyn, and Helvellyn was my first winter adventure. It wasn't even in Scotland. So the idea was to go to Helvellyn and then camp by the Red Tarn. And it was a beautiful day. We absolutely loved it. And they advised me on everything that I needed to bring along. And I did that one winter adventure and it changed everything for me. And I was like, oh, so this is it. And I just went on and just started doing my own adventures. So if there was a group that was called Black Scottish Adventurers, right, the first time and they didn't respond, I won't feel a type of way. I'll just keep messaging them because hey, they're Black Scottish Adventurers. They're like me. They owe it to me to support me, right? And I won't really feel like I'm pestering them. Maybe it's a, I don't know, maybe it's a different thing for me, but I will feel that connection to that kind of group, right? Because I'll feel like these are people that look like me. They owe it to me to support me, to lend me a helping hand. And that was why when I was launching Black Scottish Adventurers, that was the best name for it. For anyone at all in Scotland that was black to feel like this group, I can be there. But then BSA is not just limited to black people. Anyone can join. Anyone that loves a good walk, good vibes, good food, because we provide food as well, barbecue, all that stuff. So yeah, anyone that loves good, all of that, they are free to join at any point in time.
Great. It's great listening to these stories. I have walked up Helvellyn. I think it's probably the ugliest mountain I've been up. So doing it in the winter is probably a good idea. Um, in terms of, we want to replicate. You mentioned 1,000 Joshes. So if if you if the clocks turned back and you didn't find yourself in Scotland, let's say you found yourself in Birmingham instead,
Okay.
you don't have the Lake District to run to, you don't have Scotland to run to. How would you have done what you've done? Because I'm sure you'd have done it anyway. What would you have done differently?
I think, well, probably again, so to respond to you, firstly, social media was a big part, and word of mouth as well was a big part of how we grew. So again, it's just understanding the people that I'm looking at supporting, understanding those people and looking at where their pinpoints are, and then solve those problems. If I can solve those problems for them, then definitely I can get them to come outside. So again, adventuring and exploring is just because we are really lucky we are here in Scotland and we have all the beautiful places. No shots fired at anyone wherever you are in the world. But we have all these amazing places. So we can always take advantage of it and we have the right to roam as well. But say I was in Birmingham, for example, if I can understand why people, because that's something I did, I spoke with folks within the community and I tried to understand why they were not engaging with the outdoors. So if I can get a list of the reasons why they are not engaging with the outdoors and I can find solutions to those reasons, it doesn't matter. Connecting locally is very, very important because it's inexpensive, it's easy, and most importantly, just being outside is what we really need. Either you're sitting on a bench staring at a live stream, as we call it these days, it doesn't really matter as long as you're out in nature, enjoying it in your own way. So that's exactly what I'll do. So again, just replicate that, understand the challenges, and then just solve those challenges. As I said, for BSA, for example, a lot of our members, they they didn't even know about the outdoors. They didn't know it existed. They didn't know those places were there. And the ones that knew, getting to those places was a big challenge. And even if they don't get to those places, whenever they hear about the outdoors, is always, oh, someone has died on Ben Nevis. Even though some of them, they could probably never go to Ben Nevis ever. So it's nothing to do with what they do. But whenever they hear about the outdoors, is it that this avalanche that happened on Everest? So again, the outdoors for them is connected with danger. There's this. So again, it was breaking down those ideas that they had and make them understand that you don't have to go do that. You can just connect with nature locally. And then once they start locally, over time, just like me, I started walking the Union Canal. I started walking around Atter Seat. I started walking around Water of Leith. I mean, The only thing that could probably go wrong there is maybe I get bitten by midges or something.
Yeah,
So, so again, it doesn't have to be big, it doesn't have to be massive. But once the challenges that people are facing is understood, then I know this for a fact because I sit on the board of Scotland's Walking Charity, which is Walking Scotland. And I know that loads of organizations and charities in the past have tried to engage ethnic minorities, particularly specifically. And some of them have been successful, some of them not so much. But again, I think for me, it was a lot easier because I am from that community. And it's easier to understand what they're saying without actually saying it, And it's not just me as a brand going to people like, hey, this is what you need to be outside. Take this jacket, take this trouser, which is great. But if it ends there, then people probably wear that jacket once and never go back out again because they've not found the reason to want to be outside. And I'll round off with this. Every season, every new season, I always make a video on Instagram telling people about layering for maybe winter, for example, or layering for spring, what you need to wear to be comfortable. And last year, I didn't do it. So layering. So you wear your base layer, your mid layer, all that stuff. And last year I didn't do it because I wanted to do it, but then I was thinking about my aunt. My aunt doesn't care about layering because she's not found the reason to want to be outside, right? And then instead of doing that layering video, I decided to do a different video entirely. And the video was centered around what being outdoors does to me personally. I know we say it, we generalize like, hey, it's good for your mental health and your physical well-being. But then I went into details like, this is exactly what it does for me. And I think a lot of people were able to understand that. And just 2 months ago, my aunt came out on a BSA walk for the first time. And she was like, oh, so this is what you guys have been enjoying. And then she was out last one and she was out this one as well. So again, I think those kind of things are important. Just touching people exactly where they need that touch. Yeah.
fantastic. Thank you. Elsa has a hand up, a question.
Yeah, hi. I think I have two questions. They're quite short, but one is, have you ever done like wild camping with a group or camping in like in the nature in general? And the second question is, you talked about the like mostly people going to the hikes are women, and I'm wondering like, have you like checked why that is and why that happened, and rather the opposite. It's your opinions of like maybe they will just be men, but like why are just women? And how that's continued from, I guess then since the second hike, is there still mostly women coming to the hikes?
Thank you very much for that, Elsa. I'll go with the first one. So the first one about wild camping. So yes, we have done, a few wild camp adventures. So we started our wild camp adventures, the rough way, actually, the very tough way. So every January, second weekend in January, we always go up as a group to Ben Nevis. So this is like pure, proper winter adventure. And the idea is to take people that have not even been up any Monroe at all. So this is a big challenge. So it takes about 6 months of training, education around what to wear, what to do, and all. So the first time we did it, I believe, was in 2023, if I'm not wrong. It was about 10 of us. And the idea was we'll go to Glencoe and we'll wild camp. So not wild camp, sorry. So we'll camp in a campsite. So it was the full shebang. So camp in a campsite in the winter, wake up very early in the morning, and then go climb Ben Nevis and finish all of that before 3 o'clock in the evening. So that's how we started our wild camps. And it was the winter, it was tough, but a lot of people enjoyed it because it was a good experience all in all. And the second year, again, just like when BSS started, second year, it was 20 people, then 30 people, and then 40 people this year. So again, the number keeps growing because people just see people like them doing things. That's why representation matters. And beyond that, we've done a few summit camps, actually, loads of summit camps as a group. So the first one ever was on a mountain called Ben Ekulest, is in Glencoe. I believe it was almost, I think maybe 25 of us, thereabouts. It was, and these guys are really lucky, right? And I mean BSA folks. So you can imagine your first ever wild camp on a mountain in Scotland in Glencoe. They got a banging sunset. It was absolutely beautiful. It was calm. There was no wind whatsoever. And I'm not even joking. And then they woke up in the morning and there was a cloud inversion the morning. So cloud, so temperature inversion, where the cloud is, you are above the cloud. That is not something that happened. A lot of hikers have not even experienced that. And these guys, they were able to experience both in one day. So yeah, so we've done a few wild camps, or I mean beyond that. And hopefully we'll be able to do a few more. This year already, I think we have about three planned already. We are not going to be wild camping for our Ben McDewey and Ken Gomes adventure because it's quite a long walk. But again, over the years, we've been doing more Monroes now because a lot of our members that join the small walks, it feels like the small walk is not just enough anymore. They are moving on to bigger things and they want to do these bigger adventures. And then for women, why women? So again, our adventure, the way our adventure is set up. So I think I'll break it down for you. And for this community, particularly the Black community, the way it was set up was that it was a more relaxed, a more chilled, a very interactive place, and a place where everyone felt like they could be their authentic true self. And I think that resonates a lot with women from that community, a place where they could be safe and free, right? And the walks are not generally difficult. So again, it's picking something that works for pretty much everyone. All of our walks, even children can do them, right? So for these walks, women feel like they can come, they can have a good time, they can maybe struggle a little bit while going up the hill, but the views and all we make up for it. And then we have loads of other women supporting them as well. So it's women supporting women. And part of the leadership team, I think myself and I think it's about 11 of us, yeah, 11 of us in the leadership team. Eight of those are women. So eight of those are women. So this is a place where women feel seen, women feel safe. And beyond that, the way the adventure is set up as well. So in the morning, as I said, we meet around 7, 8, we do the hike, we finish around 12, and then we go by the loch somewhere to go that community part. And then we provide food, we provide drinks, non-alcoholic drinks, and then we also provide unlimited barbecue as well. So not that I'm saying women love food, but I think just a place where they could just chill without the stress of, oh, or that. Like it's a safe space. And I think that safe space is what really brings them together. And I think the first people that started dancing when we got to the top of the mountain the first time, it was women as well. So I don't know, maybe that's something that resonated with maybe women, particularly from that community, just seeing women being happy without any, I don't know, because yeah, when I see them doing that, I just stay away and I'm like, yeah, go ladies. So again, without anyone intruding and bothering them, I think it's that kind of safety that women can tell and they can see from afar. And I think that brings more women to our community.